Afternoon. Today's theme for Nurse Week is self-care. I have Nicholee Frozy here with me, who practices self-care not only for her own well-being, but also has spearheaded projects to incorporate self-care activities for veterans. Good afternoon, Nicholee. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks, Isaac.
All right, I have a few questions to ask you. Starting on number one, can you please tell us a little about yourself, what you do here at the VA, and what you do to practice self-care?
My name is Nicholee Frozy. I am a surgical care coordinator. I've been here at the VA for 15 years, and I practice self-care in a lot of ways. There are so many different avenues that you can take with self-care, and I've played around with them all. So I do meditation, and I do regular physical exercise in the form of, HIIT classes at Power. And I also do a lot of work in the kitchen. I love to cook healthy food, and I am always striving to improve my sleep. I have all of the sleep gadgets that you can imagine for sleep tracking and also for enhancing the sleep environment to make my sleep better, but I still struggle with sleep. I do a lot of setting up my physical environment, the environment that I live and work in, to be a very healing environment. I did a presentation on that last year for our employee wellness group on creating a healing environment, and I took everyone on a little tour of my backyard setup that I had been working on over the summer, and it is an extremely therapeutic environment to spend time in. I also like to treat myself to massages every now and then, and more regularly to a nice aromatherapy bath. So those are some of the many things that I do for self-care.
Excellent. Next question. Can you tell us about the veteran and staff projects if you have led that incorporate self-care activities?
So the big thing is that in 2020 or in 2019 for fiscal year 2020, I got selected for an innovation investment program grant. It was a seed program, and there are 3 different levels of the innovation funding program. So that's kind of the middle track level for them. And the initial intent was to provide complementary therapies for our surgical patients to help relieve anxiety in the pre-op setting or perioperative setting. That was split into a few different categories, providing aromatherapy for patients. Weighted blankets was another piece of the program, and then music was also supposed to be a piece of the program. However, just as we were getting started in the innovation program rollout is also when the pandemic hit, and we really, in the perioperative setting, were hit hard, and our program or our patients' scheduling came to almost a screeching halt. We had very few surgical patients who were being scheduled for surgery, and so the opportunity to provide these services for patients evaporated almost overnight. In order to be able to spend this money for some kind of similar purpose in the fiscal year as was required by the program, I shifted gears and started focusing on providing those similar services for employees. So we did do a lot of aromatherapy for staff in a wide variety of departments, from the lab to all of the different departments where we have nursing, and our employees got to experience the benefits of aromatherapy. Also, I spent my free time cooped up at home sewing aroma masks, which was a mask design that I created that would contain a little felt tablet that you could put aromatherapy on, and so then your aromatherapy was provided right there as you're breathing through your mask. So I sewed and distributed over 600 masks to mostly employees and a few veterans over the course of that early pandemic time.
Excellent. I'm sure your efforts were well received by the staff and veterans. Next question. Can you share an inspirational story about a veteran or employee that you worked with to incorporate self-care?
Sure. I have been working for many, many years to try to help my surgical patients utilize complementary therapies to help them relieve anxiety around surgery. Obviously, when you're going to have surgery, there are a lot of things to be worried about, rightfully so. And I have memories of a particular patient who I tried so hard with this patient. He was so anxious about the procedure. He just could not bring himself to come for surgery. We tried so many times, and each time he would almost get there and not quite make it. That story didn't have a great ending because even though we worked in many different ways and utilized several different types of complementary therapies to try to help alleviate the anxiety, I don't think he ever got to the point where he could bring himself to have the procedure. But I do have a story with a good ending, which is another patient who was to be scheduled for a procedure and was very, very anxious about the surgery, coming from a very long distance by himself. And he told me about the anxiety he was experiencing, and I shared with him the program that we were working on with the complementary therapies for surgical patients. He actually, because he was coming from such a long distance and the type of procedure he was having, he came down the night before, stayed in the Stratton Inn, and was going to be admitted for observation after the procedure. So he actually came by my office the day before the procedure. He picked up one of the weighted blankets that I have in my office, took that with him to the Stratton Inn, used it the night before surgery, used it the morning of surgery in the ambulatory surgery setting. That weighted blanket went with him to 7B after his surgery, so he could use it the night after his surgery, along with the aroma tab that he was using for aromatherapy purposes. And he reported back that it was very helpful to have those extra tools to help keep him calm, and that his surgery went very well and he was very happy.
Outstanding. Lastly, Nicholee, how would you recommend that we as nurses incorporate self-care into our daily routine?
So the important thing is to start small. There are so many different avenues that you can incorporate self-care. If you try to change everything at once, you're going to fall flat and it will backfire. So don't change everything at once. Choose one small thing that you think will be very helpful and incorporate that into your daily routine. It should be something that doesn't take more than 10 minutes if you're really feeling pressed for time. And it should be something that you can do in, fit into your routine, into a regular spot, so that you can practice doing it at the same time every day, and you keep doing it until it doesn't feel like it's a struggle anymore. There's a myth out there that it only takes 21 days to start a new habit, and that's just dipping your toe in the water. So you really have to keep going with that new routine until it doesn't feel like a struggle anymore. When that time comes, then you can try to add something else in. So that's my main recommendation, is start small. And one of the things that we have here recently through the VA is a program called 10 at 10. Find Your Center, and on, I believe it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, there is a Teams meeting that you can join that provides you a 10-minute guided meditation exercise. They are extremely prompt and timely, so it really is only 10 minutes, and it is a beautiful way to take a little time to do meditation. So I reached out to the woman who leads the program to find out if there's a link that we can share. I don't have that answer yet, and I couldn't figure out how to share the group from Teams. So, but maybe we can incorporate that as a link into what you're sending out so that folks can have the opportunity to join that if they would like.
Thank you so much, Nicholee, for your contributions and the efforts and everything that you do to provide world-class service to our nation's veterans in the Albany-Stratton VA and catchment area. And can't say thanks enough.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Isaac.
Thank you.